Hello, bonjour, Savan. How are we today? It is Sunday, June 21st, 2026, here in Sarnia, downtown, by, I guess you can't see that, by the shores of the St. Clair River. It is early afternoon, and I was getting just to come on now. We're going to give another little solstice informative message of light. So when I was asking today, okay, what is it, what's on the topic list for today? I got a little bit, but then not too much. So let's just tune in and see what we're going to say. So this is Solstice Day, right? Okay, so here it would have happened at 4:24 a.m. I gotta see what time it is, just so that we know. Where's the time? Oh, there it is. It's just before 2 o'clock. I didn't look before I came on. Okay, so Solstice Day it's a high day. It's a high energy way, and it is more, here's that word again, propitious than we can say, because it's your high elevation creative day. This is a new wave it's like technology's coming your way. There's a new way of being in retrospect today. There is a higher way of seeing our newer, higher aspects coming our way. So we're going to understand more information coming our way. Basically, bottom line, it's what we're getting here. We're going to start our creative movement, momentum forward in the higher light more than ever now, because this energy frequency is giving us an angelic respite. Okay, so it brings us back from our dark of night. So if you are so positioned or desiring to make this your new frame of reference in the higher light, then you're going to understand more of what's being said here. When you don't understand, it's right, just goes over the head. But the more elevation you have in your subconscious awareness, that effort that you make to participate in the higher light, you move through densities and layers of lower light. And so you express yourself in the higher light. As a result, you think from the higher light. You don't express or give voice from your lower light. Just doesn't happen. It can't, because there's no support for that old negative approach from the lower light. So as we've talked about before, the dissipation of lower light into higher light has been taking place for some time now. It's just that we're going to ground that energy more thoroughly, more magnetically into our higher structures of our higher light. So there's going to be more momentum taking us out of our fear and fright and into our higher light. There's going to be more explosions of our higher insight. It's going to teach us how to be of higher light. So when the choice comes up, there's always a choice point for us. When the choice comes up, and I'm hearing it's going to be at breakneck speed, it's a moment of decision for us. We get to explore more of ourselves and more of our higher light, or we get to just sit back and go, nah, I don't think so. I like being in the lower light. That is always a choice. I've actually heard people say that I'm choosing the lower, darker way of light. They have their reasons for it, but yeah, it is what it is, right? We have our own reasons for doing things. But the more sunlight that comes through with the solstice energy fields of light here for you on your planet and on your world today, you're going to understand it in a whole different way. And I'm hearing it, the technology, you're going to understand technology in a different way. We're going to understand the volatility of the old way. I get that. Volatility, you're up and down, up and down, up and down. You're angry, you're happy, you're sad, you're mad, you're whatever. Like it's a roller coaster ride of emotions. And when you're in a higher field of light, you don't feel that way. You feel more in that bliss state. And it's a calm, soothing, connective energy field that keeps you in your higher light. So you're serene. And you know, when you're calm and you're serene, you're not giving in to those highs and lows of the emotional depressions and buoyancies. We used to call it manic depressive, and now they call it bipolar. It's all the same stuff. It's when your frequency of light is like an India rubber ball. Boom, 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 boom. It just, you bounce off all the walls. You bounce off of everything. You bounce off of everything that people say to you or they may do. That's something that triggers you. That's not being in your full cognitive awareness, like how you used to do. So you're transcending your timeline. I'm starting to find, this is just personal 3D me speaking here, that I'm finding that certain parts of my past, it's just like that eraser erasing them as I'm transcending these different timelines, these wavelengths of thought. It's like it's harder and harder to remember the past. We can transcend it all. So these higher fields of energy light that are coming into you, especially to eradicate your fear and your fright, will show you the technology of your newer, higher light. So you get to play with it. You get to understand it. You get to understand the new genetic codes that we're being flooded with right now. Do you feel it? Do you feel different yet? Do you see how your thinking has changed? Do you monitor your thoughts regularly to see where you've been thinking in the past and where you're thinking in the future? Do you monitor yourself in any way to see where you're at? So start cluing in to the higher vibrational codes of light. They will steer you right. So more to the aspect of these higher genetic codes coming in, there's going to be a nervous upload. The central nervous being of light, central frequencies of light. Yes, we're attracted by the higher light. So through the central nervous system, they're going to send new electronic codes from the lower light into the higher light. So wherever you've been residing in your lower light, you're going to have that transcendental code, that's how I'm hearing it, push you into your higher light. So it's like this technology beam comes onto your world and planet and it just explodes your neural network codes. And for some time you feel like you're being realigned. And you are on a new timeline. So these new genetic codes, they fire the lymphatic nodes and they surrender their higher codes of light. And you become a spectator of your own might. So you see where your strengths are. You see where you've been and what you've been doing, and have a greater understanding of all that networking that you've been doing amongst yourselves. And your health as well. So you coordinate more statistics about your own health. You understand, therefore, your wealth, because those two are, linked. And then we understand what we've been doing to ourselves. So if we have been residing in our lower light, or we've been affected by lower beings of lower light, then it comes through to us into our higher might. So we're genetically proportionate to our higher light. However we wish to term this, or say this, or speak about this, it's basically turning us from our lower light to our higher light. So it's a flip. It's like a flip switch. We've talked about this switch for decades. It's a flip. It's a flipping of the switch in the brainstem. It's being monitored there. It has been for a very long time. And if you want to realign your spine, your spinal codes, your spinal column with the spinal connector points from the brainstem and beyond, then this is where we look to find a new field of reference of thought. And this is how we bring it to naught. So we're going to see ourselves in higher ways, in multiple ways, genetic ways. We're going to see what we've been taught and what we can bring to naught. So we're going to see these generational fields of light saying to us, in other words, or it's like speaking to us, telling us truth about ourselves and everybody else, everyone else. All of what we've been through, all through the downlines of time, all the ancestry, references of time, all of the brainwashings, the fear, where it resides and why, how we can clear all of that. We're going to see time after time after time, we're going to see the disintegration of our lower timelines. Because the higher timelines, that's where we reside in the higher lines of time. And that's what we've always been calling it, as divine. That's your divine stepping stool to come up into your prime directive on time, your prime directive timeline, because that's the one that teaches you how to be divine. So all of this solstice maneuverings or thought processes that are coming online right now are here to clear any old energy fear. They have it's called a Rib Fest festival here just down the street, so sorry for the noise. I shut the window and everything, but it's still, as you can hear, a little noisy. Anyway, so as to the solstice timing of this, we're bringing you to align with the new aspects of your higher timeline. So you're going to be genetically upgraded, for one. You're going to be the old cells of time, the old ones that don't rhythm and rhyme, they're going to be declined. So they're going to be offset on another timeline. So it's like two trains, trains on the train track. So one's coming this way, one's going that way. And the tracks can change, so they could actually hit each other. We don't want that. Or at the last minute they change and they go off in another direction. So the old ones are going to be exchanged out of the wavelength of time, into the higher divine lines of time. So they're tracks of time, if you want to call them that or look at that. But the solstice energies now, it's like flashing before you, are of the highest light. They register your highest might. So they show you, they tell you about your highest light. So you won't be in fear or fright. So you understand yourself better. in a way you've never known before, in a way you've never processed before. And I'm hearing to say this is like coming in your back door. You don't go through the frontal core, you come in through the back door. Okay, so we massage you a little bit more. So we're going to give you more energy at your central root core. This is all about, is it not neediness or neediness? Oh, it's about not needing that old genetic code that was previously uploaded. So those genetics, you know, how we've been messed with to keep us down and under the thumb, under control, domination, being slave, race, and all that stuff that we've talked about. Those codes are no longer going to have a hold on us. They're not going to hold you back, in other words, anymore. Yeah. So when these higher light energy codes come through with the solstice energy, and it's going to last for a day or two is what I'm hearing, this new energy is going to stimulate a new cortical cortex reaction in you, in other words, in the brain. And it's going to be predominantly high light for you. So even if you've been restraining yourself from highlighting yourself, it's going to happen anyway. It's supposed to. We've been pre-engineered for this a long, long, long time ago. We've got the codes. We've got the genetic codes. They just have to wake up. Something's got to wake them up, snap them to attention, as we've talked about for decades now. This is the moment in time when we're being pre-aligned to that higher destiny of time. So we're coming online. So this is the technology of the higher mind. We're going to see ourselves as divine. So if before, in your past lifetimes or timelines, you haven't seen your own genetic core, you're going to be seeing it so much more. So in other words, if you were blind to yourself, like, I don't know who I am, I don't know where I'm from, I don't know where I'm going. I mean, what's this lifetime all about anyway? Anything along those lines, timelines, or ways of thinking or being, that's going to be transcended with this new timeline code. There's an energy code coming onto your world and onto your planet, and it's going to stimulate the cortex in the brain, on the left side of the brain. It's going to remove any animosity and disdain you have for your higher brain. So many times we're afraid of ourselves. I say, I don't know. What's under all that covering? I'm too afraid to look. I can't look. Please. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. I prefer to stay down here in the lower realms where I don't have to look. I don't want to look at my book. I don't want to. They just don't want to. The fear is too great. But there's no need to fear. There's no reason that you can't transcend out of here. So these new energy codes, light cellular energy frequency alignments and pre-alignment codes for the simplex nervous system, for the codal alignments in the higher light, it's all genetically been given to you as a respite, and it's going to clue in overnight. You can understand yourself better, bottom line, after all that. We're going to get it. We can, yeah, now I see, now I understand it. Why couldn't I see that before? One, because you were too afraid. Two, you just didn't want to know more about yourself. But now, with these awakening codes and central alignment of your codal um, alignments of your higher light, you're going to see this energy now as a respite. So you won't be looking at it from fear or fright, like from your dark of night. You're going to see it as a respite, which means it's a rest, it's a peace, it's a good thing. You don't have to be just an animal now with a nose ring. What is that? What was it? Buffalo? They put that ring through their nose and pulled them along. I don't know. That's what I'm kind of seeing. I think that was a long time ago, right? So you're not going to be, led by the nose or pulled by the nose. How horrible is that? Ooh. It's not going to be the way anymore. So old spell castings, old ruinous ways of being for the multitudes, the science of it now is being cleared. You can actually anatomically be clear. You can see it. You can see it. Because your third eye is going to be clear. It's genetically clear. You can see why you are here. This is a resurrection of your highest thought waves and higher thought waves. From the lower light to the higher light, okay? We go in, pull all that toxicity out. Can't gain ground here anymore. Anyway, it's in bye-bye momentum. There's nothing to support it. There's no groundwork now. There's no energy frequency codes to support that old nonsensical way of being because it was detrimental to our health. And as you know, if it's detrimental to your health, it's going to hurt your wealth. So as we've seen these ads, and I'm seeing a whole bunch of them now on the YouTube when I watch a movie, it's an advertisement for, I guess, a company or something. I don't know, whatever. But the visuals, regardless if it's a commercial ad or whatever, the visuals are there. I mean, how shocking to your system. It's kind of like a nightmare. What do you mean the financial system is collapsing? What do you mean the banks are dead and gone? What happened to all my money and stuff? I mean, that's a big shock. So there's going to be a lot of talk. So you, as a society, are positioning yourself, I'm hearing it, as to irradiate your wealth. You're going to bring it back into great health, okay? So it's not only your health, but your wealth that are going to be sanctified in the higher light. We're wealthy human beings if we just let it, but nobody's been letting it. Let's pay tons and tons of taxes. Yeah, no. When I was young, there was no tax. My parents explained that to me over and over and over and over and over again. That's why I remember it. Because before the war that my parents went through, right, they went through the Depression and the war, there was no tax. And of course, the tricky government, we just need some taxes for the war effort to keep you safe and secure, right? But we'll stop as soon as the war is over. Where has that been? So we're being taxed to death. There are going to be systems of light that come on here that will envelop your higher light and thus your health and your wealth, your whole systematic system of, it's like retrogradation, motion. It's going away. So you won't have to pay and pay and pay and pay and pay. It's going to be a new day. There will be a new day. There will be a new way. You will no longer have to pay. Okay, so that's the tax system being blown up and blown away. There's only certain beings who benefited. It wasn't you. Don't have to tell you that. You already know that. So all these systems of lower light are gone. There is a resurrection from the higher light. The solstice energy fields of light burn very bright, as we've heard umpteen times now. And it is a solar light. It comes within the heart. It excels with the energy it departs. I would say imparts, but anyway, you get the picture. So it's not only the solstice beings of light coming in here to speak with you today, it's also about understanding the way our solar activity in our brainstem and in the canals of the higher light, how they juxtaposition themselves in you so that you can understand your higher mind. This is a retraining. Okay, this is a retraining ground now where you're at on the earth plane. It's all retraining you to think differently, see differently, realize things differently, understand differently. So you make choices that are different, higher, lighter, brighter. No, we don't want to be in a tax system anymore. No, we don't want to have governance anymore. No, we don't want our health destroyed anymore. We're not willing to sacrifice ourselves for the overlords anymore. We're not going to be succumbing to any energy that destroys us anymore. And that's what the solstice is for. It's for gaining ground in the higher light. It's resting and digesting our higher might. God bless. We give you peace, love, and light. We're speaking to you from our angelic might. This is the energy from your higher solar light. Okay. These are the sun, the central sun, higher light beings speaking with us. They're angelic realm. They are solar energy fields of light. They're very high, bright light. They speak the truth to you. So you hold that integrity of your own higher light. And you don't mask it in anybody's lower light. Okay, so there is no more a system of fear and fright. It's gone out with your dark of light in the dead of night. It's been expunged from your higher might. So the higher light expunges it. As we talked about, see on my hand, it's not as bright sunlight there. It kind of disappeared. Can I do this? It's not as good as the other day, right? It's not as bright. But you see, we're still here. Okay? When you're in very high light, people can't see you. It's like it's crazy. I'm still here. Just because you can't see me doesn't mean I'm not here. Okay. There are many multitudinal layers of light. So now we are boarding our fear and our fright. We're letting it take flight. God bless. We give you peace, love, and light. We're speaking to you from your higher angelic might. God bless. We give you peace, love, and light. So stay serene. Okay, stay calm. Let this beautiful solstice energy just percolate through every aspect of yourself, from the light cell energy frequency bodies of light to every hair on your head and beyond. Enjoy the light. It's what makes you think right. Okay. Blessings. We are your frequencies of light. In other words, we're just reflecting you back to you, giving you our message as well as your own. Love you always. Take care of yourselves and others. We'll tune in and speak with you again. If you do wish to book an appointment with us, you can go to the website www.healingourenergy.ca. I have put a message on my Facebook page that you can find the link, very last link in the description box below. Will give you an update about sessions because I'm changing things as of the 1st of July, 2026. You might want to learn about that because some offerings that I have normally are going away and others will stay. Okay. All right. Bye for now.